AFTERBUZZ TV Network. Now the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV Survivor After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV Survivor After Show.
Yeah, hey guys, Bing is for doing, and we're doing another Survivor After Show. It is season 26, Fans vs. Favorites, episode 7, and I'm Justin Walter, joined by two very talented hosts. We have our 3-time Survivor villain, original villain.
Yeah, the OG villain in the house. That's right, Jerri, me, woohoo!
Jerri Manthey, and next to Jerri Manthey
AJ Gibson. What's up,
the
guys?
one and only just AJ Gibson.
Wait, can you please just say the title of this episode? Please say it.
Tubby Lunchbox.
I love that.
Who said that?
I don't remember that quote.
I think that was Corinne, right?
No, she said that Phillip was a 10-pound sack of potatoes in a 5-pound sack.
Yeah.
Did she call him a Tubby Lunchbox?
I bet it was Cochran. I don't know.
Cochran or Corinne.
Those are the only two giving the great bites tonight.
Yeah, somebody tweet us and tell us.
Yeah, somebody tweet us. Tell us if you can tweet us who said Tubby Lunchbox, the name of tonight's episode. We'll give you a shout out on our show tonight.
Yeah.
So
you win 2 seconds of our time.
So yeah. Well, tonight's episode, it started off with another Corinne versus Phillip moment. They got back from the vote last week where Matt, who we all loved, was voted off. Bummer. Matt was, in some of his post interviews, he was saying he's just too honest in the game. And he, obviously fell victim to the favorites.
I think it was just bad luck.
A lot of bad luck.
Luck plays such a huge part in this game, and he just didn't have any.
Yeah, I don't see any real mistakes that he made in his gameplay. I think that things shifted, and it was bad luck. And that really is what it comes down to so often on the show.
Yeah, the swap was not in his favor.
No.
And clearly not only because of the numbers, but because he was on the unathletic tribe.
Well, in all fairness,
the losing tribe, in other words.
The swap wasn't in any of the fans' favor.
Last week, yeah.
Because you saw when Jeff, and I'm always suspicious of these things, but when Jeff had them draw for the new tribes, obviously it was going to be four favorites on both tribes. So either way, again, they're just setting up the season for a favorite to win, which is frustrating.
Yeah.
But
You should have been here last week, AJ. We had a whole talk about that, and the bottom line was all the eggs should have been in one basket.
they should have all been in one basket.
That's when you put all your eggs in one basket, Survivor.
I watch your guys' shows when I'm not here.
He's like,
I watch Survivor.
well, right when we got back from Tribal Council, again, it was Phillip saying he wanted Corinne out. He doesn't trust Corinne. Corinne saying she's so sick of Phillip. We've heard this before. Nothing new.
Broken record.
So after, they wake up the next morning and we got this kind of funny moment from Cochran. Cochran is giving a lot of the best one-liners along with Corinne this season. And he basically compared Julia, who she's one of the fans. If you don't know who she is, she's that brunette who sometimes talks.
If you don't know who she is, you're not alone.
Wait, who's Brenda?
Yeah, no, not me.
Oh, no, I love Brenda.
Yeah, Brenda and Julia are kind of got probably equal amount of airtime this season so far.
Yeah. Well, they're both about the same size. They turn sideways and they disappear.
Brenda is beautiful. She's stunning.
And you know what? We thought Julia was looking pretty last week.
Yeah, she was actually really cute, but that doesn't get you anywhere in Survivor unless you're Parvati.
Yeah. So basically, Cochran was saying that Julia is very vanilla, and then he caught himself and gave one of the best liners saying along the lines of, that is a disservice to the flavor of ice cream vanilla that children love and pine for after school. She just doesn't deserve to be called vanilla.
Because kids would choose vanilla. Nobody would choose the flavor Julia.
Julia, boring flavor.
That was horrible.
I mean, she's awful. And it's so weird to me because we talk about this all the time about how desperately Justin wants to get on the show. But how do they cast? You're going for a fans tribe, and how do they cast somebody like her? Like, she has no personality whatsoever. Like, just
it's
none.
one of those. Is it the case where in the interviews and in the process of getting on the show, she was extroverted and energetic and enthusiastic? We don't see that on the show.
I mean, it is possible that you get out there and, like she said in her exit interview, like it wasn't what she expected at all.
Yeah.
And it's possible that maybe you just get a little bit overwhelmed with that many big personalities. She could be one of those types of personalities that in a room, she stands out when she's around people that maybe she's
When
used
she's
to.
by herself, she stands out.
No. I'm saying like in a room of like, okay, like if I go home to Ohio, I have a huge personality. But if I go to a dinner party in West Hollywood, yeah, I'm pretty average. You know what I mean? Like maybe she's like big fish, small pond, and then she gets on the show when there's all these huge personalities. Maybe she just got lost.
I don't know. I would be interested to see her in a room like that because I feel like
I wouldn't.
She does. No. I'm saying I'd be interested to see because I don't feel like she has that magnetic personality.
Yeah.
We didn't see that at all. Not any moment of it.
I'm trying to cut her some slack. I feel sorry
she's
for her.
nice.
She was terrible to watch.
And she did try and play the game.
And it is one of the downsides to having a bunch of old players come back and play with new players.
Yeah.
You're always going to be trumped by the older player.
But that's actually what I didn't like about her the most, because I actually, during this episode, we did get to see that she had a little bit of a strategy, and she was actually thinking a little bit, which was refreshing. But at the end, when she said, it was just really hard, they brought back all the favorites, I'm like, don't whine about it. Don't come up with excuses. Like,
well, here's the thing, though. We're going to just jump around right now. When she was sitting at Tribal Council next to Michael, and it's basically they're sitting ducks, it is, as a fan, you look at them, it's like, if you're in that position, you really have nowhere to go. You have no options. You have nothing to do. So she is a sitting duck. You know, it's just kind of,
But she could have gotten a little more creative. I feel like if you've been on that, like we watch it week after week, we see the divide between Corinne and Phillip. If you play it just right, you could put a wedge there, and you could try to go. She should have gone to Corinne as opposed to talking with Phillip. She should have gone to Corinne and said,
No, instead of Dawn. She shouldn't have gone to Dawn.
Because Phillip came to her, then she went to Dawn. Correct.
Yeah.
She should have gone to Corinne.
So basically, kind of retracting, what happened was Phillip again pulls Julia aside and says, I want to work with you. When we get to emerge, let's talk.
I want you to be my double agent.
Be my double agent.
I've just created a double agent, he said.
And I love how he like threatens everybody too.
Yeah.
He threatens them and says, if you prove yourself in this way and you do exactly, then you will.
But here's the thing. It's almost genius what Phillip does right there, because here's he says to Julia, don't tell anybody I'm talking to you, and this is going to be between me and you.
Knowing that she'll say something.
But if she doesn't say something, he has her in his back pocket. If she does say something, which she did, he says to Dawn, she failed my test, we have to get her out. So either way, Phillip wins in that situation. If she doesn't say anything, she's secretly working for Phillip. If she does say something, he turns it around on her that she following in line with what Phillip wanted. So either way, Phillip is on top in that situation.
Very true, because you can win this game being a little bit like off, being a little bit loony, and being a little bit weird. You don't very often win the game being a complete jerk, you know, and this way he sets it up well. Either way,
I think it was smart, and it was funny because Phillip obviously is a huge focus on the episode. A bunch of there were on Twitter a lot of former Survivor contestants like Johnny Fairplay and Rupert were just kind of like, "This is the Phillip show. We're sick of this." Even Johnny Fairplay said, one of his tweets said, "I'm done watching the show live until Phillip is voted off because all he's doing is talking about Boston Rob, and I am so sick of hearing about Boston Rob."
Yeah.
You had some strong feelings when you heard him talking about Boston Rob.
I mean, dude, seriously, he's like, he says he keeps playing the game like BR. You know, BR would have done this way. BR would have done that. I'm just like, dude, why don't you just...
Like a bunny rabbit? I don't get it. I don't get it.
Play the game and, stop throwing names around. Nobody's impressed by it, you know?
Yeah.
It's just, it gets old.
Gets old.
It's odd because it's like, it's almost like this should be the fans versus favorites, where the fans are Phillip and the fans are, you know, these other people playing Russell and Boston Rob and all these other guys. It's almost like they're putting them on this pedestal that I don't think they deserve. Boston Rob had a season handed to him. Russell Hanson's never won the game and never will. Like I like these people as a fan, and I like Russell personally, but I mean, you're putting them on this pedestal they don't deserve to be on.
Yeah, and in Phillip, tonight he showed that he can talk the talk, but he can't walk the walk, and literally he could not walk the walk in the water at the reward challenge. But before getting the reward challenge, there was tree mail, and basically Phillip was like, if there is body strength or upper body strength required, I'm going to dominate this. We get to the reward challenge in classic
because
Phillip.
he could play in the NBA right now. Remember, he said that a few episodes ago?
NBA.
Yeah.
Classic Phillip. The challenge was basically in the water. There was kind of a rectangle, oval shape where each tribe was linked together with weights, bags of weights, and they had to catch up to each other by running or walking. Whichever tribe could catch up to the other tribe would win. If you wanted to drop players and hand off their weights to other players, you could.
And it was ankle-deep water for much of the challenge.
Water.
No, it wasn't.
Yes. For one whole half of that track, it was like an ankle deep.
It's a classic Survivor challenge. We've seen this before.
Have we?
Yeah.
I've never seen it because it was probably one of the most boring challenges I've ever seen.
Jerri, did you not off camera say that you missed a couple of seasons a while back because you got bored?
I did a couple.
I'm just saying.
No, it's not because I got bored. It's because I was dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
She has played the game 3 times. She gets that excuse. So in the challenge, both tribes were walking. Phillip took the lead. Everyone on his tribe was saying, run a little, run a little. He said, I can't run, I can't run.
No, not at first. He said, we can't.
Oh, yeah.
And what did he say about the women?
No.
Oh, yeah, we don't want to tire
the girls out.
Tire the girls out.
Oh, you know what? Okay, now that we're on the subject of challenges and tiring the girls out and big personalities, I think it might be time to reveal our big surprise tonight.
Jerri, go ahead, reveal.
Yeah, I personally went out and made sure that Sandra was going to be here tonight. So she is waiting in the wings. And there she is. Yay!
Hi, Sandra.
How come I can't see you guys?
We can see you.
Yeah, we can see you. We have a big screen in here, Sandra. We can see your beautiful face. So excited to have you in as our 4th co-host right now.
Thank you, but I wish I could see you guys. Did you guys hear me when I said Palau? That's where that challenge was from.
No, see, she's got it. True
Sandra
fan.
That's why she's won it twice.
And she's not only a 2-time winner, she's also one of the biggest Survivor fans I know besides you, Justin.
Yeah.
So Sandra has every bit of trivia from every season of Survivor down.
Love it.
I would love to see the two of you.
Had one of them seen that episode from back in Palau, they would have known that they just took the sacks off the females and they just went for a quick sprint so
right
that
away.
they wouldn't have to tire themselves running around and round and round.
I remember that. And it went really quickly then.
And Sandra, I mean, do you think if they would have done that, though, with Phillip, he couldn't even handle 1 bag?
Yeah, but you know what? Corinne could have took that bag. I wish she would have spoke up. But still, Phillip is full of shit and baloney. I can't believe it.
So Sandra, let's get your take on Phillip. We've been talking about him a lot. He's clearly a focus of this season and specifically this episode. What are your thoughts on Phillip?
My thoughts on Phillip, I mean, I actually like him. I personally know Phillip. He's different out of the game, but I don't necessarily know that me and him would mesh well together after day 4, 5, or 6.
That wouldn't work.
And yeah, it wouldn't work. And I understand how this Julia girl feels about him telling her essentially what he has to do, and then her confiding. The minute she started talking to Dawn, I was like, please don't open your mouth. Do not say anything. She's the wrong person to talk to. Dawn is just, I hate to say riding coattails because people say I ride coattails, but it's different. She could have took that information from Julia and kept it to herself and did something with it instead of running back to Phillip. And that's why Phillip has so much power, because they have people like Dawn telling them every time somebody takes a piss. You know, it's ridiculous.
He's actually, you know, he is implementing the Boston Rob strategy, and it's kind of working for him, which is crazy that they are giving Phillip all this power. It's crazy.
It's absurd to me. I would have knocked him out. And the fact that, and that young lady, Julia, she should have spoke to Corinne too and other people. She just shouldn't have just spoke to Dawn. I think she already knew what was going to happen. I think she knew she was in trouble when she spoke at tribal council and said, you know, I might have, she said she spoke, what was it that she said? she made a comment. She said a phrase that she thought that she might have said something and that she was in jeopardy. She knew she was in jeopardy. Yeah. I think she knew it. She felt it.
Well, I feel like if she knew she was in jeopardy, what do you have to lose then? I feel like she didn't do a whole lot of scrambling. I feel like she tried to a little bit and then just kind of rolled over. And I don't think that I don't think that I would play that way. You certainly don't play that way.
There's no telling if she did any scrambling. That's the thing. A lot of people don't see every minute of every hour that goes on out there. But at the same time, too, in her defense, Corinne, if she wanted to save Michael so bad, She just didn't have to vote the way they told her to vote. She could have kept that to herself. She could have said, I'm going to go ahead and write Julia's name regardless and make sure that she has 3 of the votes, and there's not going to need to be a revote, and let them know, hey, you're not going to tell me how the hell I'm going to vote if I want to keep this kid around, you know?
Yeah.
Do you think that Corinne is afraid of Phillip?
No, but I think she's not. She just doesn't want to fight with him just yet because it's still too early. But that would have been a perfect time had they gotten Michael and Julia together. But see, then that's all she has is just still three people against Don, Cochran, and Phillip. And Cochran, I mean, he's in a good position because everybody comes to him, everybody trusts him, he keeps his mouth shut, he doesn't say anything. But at the same time, too, Corinne she probably knows she doesn't have the power to sway him just yet.
No, if she makes it to the merge, though, knowing that Malcolm has that idol is a huge bonus. And I still think that the 2 of them are going to end up teaming back up together.
Yeah, I feel like Corinne is just waiting for that opportunity for the merge to get rid of Phillip at that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if she, let's say, if Phillip...
Corinne is the
go ahead.
player.
Yeah. If Corinne would have made that switch this week, I feel like the other tribe would have maybe held it against her in terms of she was the first one to turn on the favorites. We have not seen a favorite go home since obviously Brandon left, but since being voted off, was it Francesca?
Yeah.
And is that it? Just those are the only 2 favorites gone? Those are the only 2 favorites that are gone.
Time too, they're all thinking the same thing. I'm sure they're all thinking, how far are we going to let Phillip go? It's just nobody wants to take the first step. That's all it is. It's just who has the balls to make it happen.
And it's crazy because on his season, he was kept around basically by Boston and Rob because obviously if you bring Phillip down, you know he's never going to win votes. So it's almost, there comes a point in the time in the game where these people might think that and change their strategy. Let's keep Phillip because he will never get votes.
I also feel like the second time around, these players, they are a little less likely to try to make huge, bold moves early in the game. They know better. And they're sitting back, like you said with Corinne, I think a lot of them are kind of just sitting back trying to not make mistakes that maybe they'd made in the past. Whereas these young kids, they feel such pressure to make big moves right away because if they don't, they're gone.
Well, they've had to.
They have
now
options.
they're all up against the wall. They have nothing to hold on to anymore. It's almost pathetic. And it's turning into a very predictable situation.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to the merge. I mean, I think it's going to be a huge scramble because you've got Michael now who may probably stick with Corinne, who will team up with Malcolm again. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, and there was a lot of foreshadowing in this episode in terms of the future. We have Malcolm talking about this alpha male alliance with Reynold and Eddie and Erik, and they have combined 2 idols. So if those 4 actually work together, that's a really strong force. And you throw Corinne in the mix, that's 5. That's a huge. It's not going to happen.
I knew when they were sitting in the water together, Malcolm and Reynold, and I was like, oh, one of them is going to spill the beans. But I was sure it was not going to be Malcolm because that guy, he's getting really cocky, and every week I'm going further and further towards get Malcolm out of there because that whole cockiness thing.
Well, I feel like to his advantage, he just played the game, so he didn't really have to take a whole lot of time to step away from it, come back into the real world, and then go back years later. He's been in this game from day one, and I feel like that loss last season is so fresh in his mind that he's got that much more motivation. I really like him. I really also.
He's a good player.
Can I just ask you, Sandra, what do we think about Brenda? I love Brenda. I've been waiting for her. I know. I've been waiting for her to get some airtime all season long. What's going on with Brenda?
I don't know. Her first season, she was very outspoken, and I think that right now she's sitting back and saying, I don't want to make the same mistakes. I don't want to be too cocky. I want to try to go as far as I can. But she is quiet in the game, but that's all I can say about Brenda because it's true, she's practically invisible. And something's wrong with her leg. I keep seeing her limping, but yeah, she's going on all these. I mean, she's doing some physical stuff, going in and jumping in the water and doing all that stuff. So her leg's probably not that bad, but I believe she's injured. She's got something going on with that leg.
Yeah, it's like a little puppy with a broken leg.
Well, we saw.
I mean, it's not broken, but she's limping.
Yeah.
We saw the Gota
but
tribe.
She's not sitting on the sidelines. She's like, you know what? I'm going to do what I have to do because I don't want them to think that I'm hurt or injured or vote me off because of an injury. So I mean, she
did sit out tonight, though.
She did sit out once night, but she was up on her feet, jumping up and down, cheering the entire time. So she was letting them know, look, I could be there if you guys needed me.
She was pulling an Abby Maria, but being a better cheerleader than Abby was. Well, in the reward challenge, we saw saw the young and the restless, the bold and the beautiful tribe dominate and win, and they went on the reward challenge. And whenever there's food challenges or rewards, Jerry's always like, "Oh gosh, they are gonna have a tough time digesting that."
I'm gonna be like, they're gonna be throwing up and pooping all over the place.
So, and Sandra, you've known that feeling of being out there and tasting food out there and
Sandra, remember that when we won that challenge and we got all the chocolate and the cookies and the cupcakes and all that stuff? And everyone...
Yeah, that was the first challenge I had ever reward that I have ever gone to, Jerry, because in the Pearl Islands, everyone would promise me, hey, if I win, I'm going to take you because you haven't gone. And they'd win, and then I'd be sitting still back at camp, and I'm like, those freaking liars. They said they'd finally take me, and they just would never take me. So the heroes and villains, the chocolate one was the first reward I ever went to. And I said that on camera, like, I finally got to go on a reward.
You know what you were doing?
But we were all throwing up. Like, seriously, we were taking turns throwing up.
They should show that.
They should. It's horrible.
It's like the scene from Bridesmaids.
Yeah, you just can't eat as much as you want to. You're just eating with your eyes, really, because you just can't handle it. Your stomach just can't take it.
So Sandra, let's talk about Malcolm in terms of he's got the idol. He's sitting kind of pretty with the favorites. Now he's making a plan with the fans. What do you think Malcolm's best move moving forward in a merge situation would be? Which way should he go? How should he play?
Well, it's true what he said. Everyone's going to go after these strong guys once they merge, once it's every man for himself. So, I mean, they can win all the challenges, but eventually you're going to lose something. And the minute you lose, somebody's going home. The fact that Reynold told him about that idol, he can always sway Reynold to give him his idol if he feels he's in jeopardy and still save his own idol. Reynold, that kid, I don't know why he didn't learn his lesson from the first time when he got outed about his idol. Stuff like that, you have got to keep quiet. That is something you don't share that with anybody, not if you're serious about that $1 million.
And I feel like Reynold is kind of aware of that too, because he actually made the comment after he talked with Malcolm that if I'm wrong about this guy, this is the final nail in my coffin. Possibly a little bit of foreshadowing. He's aware of it. Again, though, these fans, they don't have a lot of options.
Well, and I think with Reynold too, this is like the first time in the game where, oh my gosh, I might be in an alliance that has power, and he's anxious and kind of just excited to be in a position where, oh my God, I can actually play this game and be with big players and go somewhere.
Yeah, he was almost done in the game at one point.
Only 4 people. That's only 4 people he's talking about. And remember, the majority is weaker than these 4, and they're going to gang up on you.
And that is the exact mistake he made at the beginning of the season. Remember the pretty 4? The 4 pretty ones? They made an alliance of 4
These numbers
on a tribe
are 4.
of 10. It doesn't make sense.
Reynold.
Reynold is not a mathematician. I understand you, Reynold.
Sandra, I'm curious, and I've never actually asked you this, and I've always wanted to know. If you have the opportunity to play Survivor again against anyone, any one player in the history of Survivor that maybe you haven't gotten to play against so far, who would it be and why?
Richard Hatch.
Ooh. And why?
Oh, you didn't play with him, that's right.
I want to see the queen go up against the queen.
I love it.
Just look out the straight face. So deadpan. I love it. She's like
already thinking of her strategy.
I know. I love it.
She knows it.
I would live for that.
I'll tell you what, Sandra. I had to share the beach with him for a while, and I will say this: it's an adjustment to have to look at his little tiny wiener all day long, because he doesn't care. He just walks around. It's just there in your face. It's a very strange and surreal experience.
But you know what? I already know his technique, Jerry, because he says he gets naked so that people won't be bothering him and stuff like that. But me, I can talk to him. I don't care that he's naked because I'm not interested.
Well, he's not interested either.
None of my business.
That's the thing too, because it doesn't bother me at all. But it was kind of strange still. I mean, especially because we made fun of him. We call him the turtle because it just crawled all up inside. There was.
Sandra, looking at this season moving forward, what are your kind of predictions in terms of who do you see there in the end? What are your kind of best tips of advice for the remaining players?
Well, I want to say that I see favorites at the end. I really do. It's going to be hard for any of those fans to get their foot in the door. That's only temporary. And the the favorites, they have the knowledge, they have the ability, they know what it is that they need to do, or let's say they know now what it is they need to do to get themselves to the end so that they don't screw up again. I mean, when you get a second chance to play Survivor, or third or fourth chance, you really want to go out there and really give it your all and say, look, I'm not going to try to come back another time because it might not happen. This is where I'm at right now, and I need to do everything I can to keep myself in the game. So I see myself.
I wish.
Favorites at the end and fans going boom, 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 one after the other.
Which favorites do you think will prevail?
Who'd probably go the furthest? Reynolds, because he has Reynold, not Reynolds.
Oh, and then the fans, you think
Reynolds
Reynold?
because he has the idol. That can save him temporarily if he finds out, you know, his neck is on the line. He can use the idol, save himself for 3 more days. You know, maybe try to win a challenge. That'll save him 3 more days. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's gonna be favorites all the way. 1, 2, and 3.
Which favorites do you see in those positions? Who do you think are the favorites? So let's narrow it down to those 8. Who's playing the best game? Who do you see going to the final 3?
Cochran is doing real good only because everybody comes to him. I think all the players in general that have played before have something for Cochran, you know, in their hearts. He's dear and near to your heart. I know Cochran. I met Cochran. I spent time with Cochran. He is really, really sweet. And he's not a physical person, but that doesn't seem to matter to anybody, you know, because he really is a genuine, sweet guy that you can sit out there and chit-chat with and shoot the shit with, and you just happen to be out there with Cochran.
I don't know if you could win against Cochran, though. I mean, for those reasons, it seems like if he was in the final 3, it'd be hard to beat him because everybody does love him so much.
No, I'm telling you why he's going to get there. I'm not saying why Sandra would keep him and take him to
Sandra would vote his ass off early.
Yeah, I'm just telling you how I feel this is happening right now. And Dawn, you know what I can't stand about her? She's always making them freaking faces. That would piss me off. Like, she's always heard about these decisions that she has to make when she's voting somebody out. Like, it's really killing her.
I know. It made more sense season 1. Like, she went through it. She's a veteran now. Like, let's just cut to the chase.
She's being overly dramatic. Is that what you're saying?
Almost. Dawn's being dramatic.
No, are you saying that Dawn is overly dramatic?
Yeah, because they really, I mean, like, we're all here for the $1 million. Like, you got to bring it. And then Corinne's actually being a lot quieter than she really is. So hats off to her for keeping it under control, because she can be a beast out there.
Especially with somebody like Phillip. I mean, that's got to be hard.
Yeah.
She's handling it well.
She learned her lesson from her first time around.
Sandra, out of curiosity again, curiosity's getting the best of me tonight. If CBS came calling for a 3rd round, would you do it?
I would, but I'm still hesitant. It's either they're going to knock me out at the beginning because I've won twice, or they're going to keep me around because they know I'm not going to win another $1 million.
Yeah, you would be either first out or in the end. There's no in between for you.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I mean, I'd still fight tooth and nail to stay in the game because Survivor it's what I know.
Some of us have turned it into a career.
And I'm jealous of all of you. You're living my dream. Sandra, you have been awesome one to watch as a player, both your seasons. Thank you so much for calling in again, and it's awesome to see your face in our studio.
Yay.
We love having you. Hopefully you'll be in LA sometime. We'll actually get you in the studio sitting with us and next to us. Thank you so much for all of your insights. We love that you take the time to call us. All the fans love you. Thank you so much, Sandra. Take care, babe.
Take it easy. Have a good
Bye-bye.
Bye.
She's the best.
She's amazing.
And you know, you can just see how focused in terms of like game and strategy. And how many times did she say you're there for the $1 million, $1 million, $1 million? She is so focused.
Well, I think I said that like one of the earlier episodes we did, that I feel like in any given season, most people out there, they might think they have a chance of winning, and they might go out there with the best intentions, but very few people can stay focused and stay the course the entire season. Now, obviously, a lot of stuff happens that's going to, you know, push you in a different direction, but I feel like she's one of those rare players that she just stays under the radar. She's got her eye on the prize, and she gets there. She's done it twice. I have no idea how.
She's awesome.
I
do. You experienced it.
Well, last time I played with her, I actually fought tooth and nail to keep her around because my goal was to get in the final 3 with her and Russell. And
that could have been winnable for you.
It would have been.
Yeah.
That's how you ultimately got voted out.
I was in such a good position. That's why I didn't make it to the final 3. Like all 3 of them knew, you know, everybody liked me all of a sudden, and I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that doesn't really work so well.
No, you guys, I'm still a villain, I promise.
I swear I'll be really mean.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and you can tell she's a huge fan of the show, and we want to take the time to thank our fans of our AfterBuzz show for listening every week. We love when you guys call in. Call in tonight if you feel like you have something to add or say. And also, we'd love for you to go to iTunes, you know, not only listen to our podcast, but there's ratings. You can give us 5 stars and give us your comments. Tell us what you've enjoyed about our show, what we can improve. We love getting your feedback on iTunes, YouTube, on Twitter. So keep checking in with us, and we'll do our best to keep entertaining and fun shows coming to you guys on a weekly basis.
You sound like we're going away.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, the show's not over yet.
It's not over yet. So let's talk about the immunity challenge. Immunity challenge was a very physical challenge. Again.
Yeah, I really want to see some more mental challenges. I want some
shouldn't they have to like build a puzzle at the end or something? But no.
Yeah.
So what they did tonight was they selected 3 members from each tribe to get in a canoe, paddle out into the ocean, park the canoe, dive for this kind of big statue type thing underwater.
It was a weird looking statue.
I
wanted to see what it looked
dangerous.
Like. Yeah, it looked really sharp.
And it basically tipped the boat when they got in the boats. Like the boats kept tipping, and they had to beat 3 people to.
Well, the Bikal tribe almost went in.
I think that was more Michael climbing into the boat that made the boat almost fall over.
Well, and the Gota tribe clearly took the lead in the beginning. Then the Bikal tribe caught up, and then they kind of fell back behind. And we had Brenda, Erik, and who else from the Gota? Eddie for the Gota tribe. Then we had Dawn, Corinne, and Michael from the Bikal tribe. So once they got this statue back to the beach, then they put it on this kind of, what would you even call that device? I don't even know.
An elevator.
An elevator that with a rope.
Yes. Wait, what's that thing called at Six Flags? A hill-elevator.
Yeah.
It kind of was at an angle, like on a hill, a hill-elevator.
And then what they've been doing a lot this season with the challenges is the last part is either tossing rings or tossing a rope.
Every other challenge.
And retrieving something.
It's a carnival this season.
It's a carnival.
With grappling hooks.
Next is when you at the carnival when you got the ring toss of the bottles.
No, the immunity idol should be like a big panda bear or something.
When your stuffed animal immunity idol. Yeah, that'd be good.
Totally.
Well, then, and clearly, the thing that I don't like about that being the end of every challenge is we always see Reynold versus Phillip, or Malcolm sometimes in that position what Reynold is in. So it turned out to be Reynold against Phillip, throwing ropes, trying to retrieve rings with keys on them. Once you get the keys, you go unlock the statue, you pull a rope, and boom, it drops a banner. Gota, Orange Tribe wins.
Well, only because Phillip wasn't trying.
Yeah.
No,
So
that was okay. I have to address what happened after the challenge because I was spinning. To have Phillip, say to Cochran, I need to confess something, and take him off into the woods.
And Cochran knew the second he said it too.
Yeah, he's like, I kind of threw that challenge or whatever. And Cochran's like, what? The commentary between what the conversation was between Phillip and Cochran, and then cutting to Cochran's side interview by himself was probably one of the most comical things I've seen in a long time, because he's just over there going, it's total BS, it's total BS. I'm like, Phillip, dude, seriously, nobody believes you. Like, this is where I start looking at him and going, Phillip. And I'm going to, actually, you guys are going to the reality rally, right?
Yes.
We're going to see him there.
Oh, you guys are?
Can't wait.
He's going to be there. And I am going to give it to him good. I'm going to be like, Phillip, come on, dude.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, I mean,
you know you didn't throw that challenge, dude.
And here's the thing. Once again, just like you said earlier, though, and I didn't consider this when I watched the show because really I was just so frustrated by him. His arrogance is just, it just grosses me out. But once again, either way, if he did or if he didn't, he still looks genius right now.
Yeah.
Because his argument.
I wouldn't say genius.
Well, because if he had won, he was the hero. If he didn't, he could say, I threw it because I'm now proving my loyalty to all the favorites and letting people know, even on the other tribe, because we're going to merge. Look, I did that for you guys. So he looks really smart. He can make that argument both ways.
Even though no one's believing it, though.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, though. And if he keeps playing this sort of game moving forward, once we get to a merge and we have a jury situation and all of that, he can make that argument. Whether you believe him or not is a completely different thing, but he can make that argument, and he's not really stabbing people in the back necessarily. He's letting them do it for. He's setting them up and letting them do it for themselves.
Yeah, and I think that what Sandra was saying, I think this moment proved how good of a game Cochran is playing, because Cochran, like Jerry, you were saying, he's sitting there taking all of it, and yeah, Phillip, oh wow, oh my gosh, you threw it, wow, oh wow, you
wow,
know?
What a great
and then in his interviews,
job.
he's like, that was a bunch of BS, which is showing that what Sandra was saying too, the returnees know when to hold their thoughts, know when to say it, where we're seeing the fans like Julia don't know it. Reynold, they don't know it. They're making these mistakes, rookie mistakes, you could say, where they're just giving up too much information.
Like I said last week, you have to keep your cards close to you at all times. The only time you ever share anything is when you see like a definite benefit right then and there, like you have to say something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, keep your mouth shut. I mean, and you know, that's the big difference between a good player and a bad player anyway. Someone who can keep their mouth shut in the midst of the most insane ridiculousness from other people. Like it's really hard, especially, you know, already we're not even talking about how people might be hungry or tired or suffering. It's like that kind of stuff gets shoveled under the rug now, but that's the truth. 24/7 people are struggling with hunger and lack of sleep. And
it's become a secondary concern now.
No,
you really have to.
You know, when you're watching it, you don't even like kind of think about it.
That just shows you how the game has evolved. Because I remember the first few seasons, what was so like incredible about the show was like they're not eating. Look, Richard Hatch isn't as fat anymore. Like people were losing weight, and now we don't even. The game has evolved to such a point, and like we said, especially with the favorites this season, it was gameplay day one, and instantly you have to make alliances those first few hours, and it all sets up how the entire season is going to play out, and then you have to adjust as quickly as you can when you need to and make smart choices.
It has been such a walk in the park for the favorites though so far.
It's brutal how easy it's been.
I know Jeff Probst said this season was a really good season, one of his his favorite seasons.
He says that every season.
I know he says that every season. I believe anything Jeff Probst will say. But when is this? Hopefully next week is the beginning of the turn of this season to become more entertaining, more strategic.
Let's hope.
And more kind of fun to watch. The last couple episodes have been good.
Well, because
they're just kind of lackluster.
Remember last season when they had the 3 tribes, and the one tribe we didn't see for the first few weeks, it was Calabao or the other one? I can't remember which one it was, but we didn't see them for the first like 5 or 6 episodes at all because the purple tribe, Denise's tribe, right?
The blue.
Blue. I thought they were purple, but yeah. They were blue. But their tribe was just going to tribal over and over again. So you didn't even see the tribe that was winning. Now we've got the favorites winning, but they're still the people they show every episode. That's all we see. I mean, it's got to be. We're talking about how hard it must be to like bite your tongue. I think especially with somebody like Phillip out there, if you can stay quiet, it's interesting to see Corinne, because like Corinne is not that quiet of a girl, and for her to really, like Sandra said, to really bite her tongue, that's got to be so difficult.
No, I can watch her blood pressure rise, and I feel it myself because I've been there as well. Like where you cannot believe like how infuriating somebody can be.
Well, and they're favorites for a reason. They're memorable. They're all Type A personalities. And
that's debatable on some people.
To a degree, but they're Type A personalities, and we all. Have you ever like had that friend who like that they're so full of it and they're so delusional that you just don't even say anything because it's so awkward? Yeah, me either.
I don't have any of those people in my life. But I can't handle it.
You met them at some point, I'm sure. Like it's just like you listen to them like
they're all on Survivor.
They're usually actually they're on Survivor or on Hollywood Boulevard. But no, and that's kind of what Phillip is. He's just nuts.
He's crazy.
So in terms of strategy, obviously the Bikal tribe lost immunity, and then it was a debate between like splitting the vote, not splitting the vote. Corinne didn't want the vote split. They wanted to split the vote. And in the end, they split the vote, forcing a tie between Michael and Julia. And then they pushed the votes to Julia. Michael stays, which is a good bonus for Corinne. She kind of won out on that battle. She kept her gay. But it's also, I feel like if Michael would have gone, that would have shown Corinne that she has no pull in that alliance, whereas she wanted Michael to stay, they kept her, you know. Julia's gone, not really a loss of a player.
Well, Corinne's smart because she's trying to do the same thing that Malcolm's doing on the other tribe, because if those two really do have an alliance, they come back together, she pulls in one guy and he pulls in a couple of idiots. All of a sudden he's got his 4 and her 2. They go into that with an alliance of 6. now they've got some weight.
Yeah.
You know, so she's playing smart right now, I think.
Oh,
I think they're going to end up doing really well.
Malcolm and Corinne.
Yeah. I have a strange suspicion.
And they're going to pull in Brenda. Please pull in Brenda, somebody. I love Brenda.
I don't think that's going to happen, AJ.
She's too pretty not to win the show.
Oh, God. Did you just say it's not the Miss America pageant, it's Survivor.
Yeah.
She's beautiful.
So,
I don't know. I haven't even gotten to see what she looks like. I
want to see Brenda and Parvati on the same tribe. Oh,
gosh.
My heaven.
So I guess, you know, we'll see. Obviously, next week we saw a promo and a preview for the merge coming, which
Yay,
thank
merge.
God we need the merge. It's going to be exciting to see them
There's going to be booze.
play as individuals. Were you ever drunk out there when you?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Does that affect gameplay at all? I mean, or just
oh my gosh.
What's a memorable moment in terms of for you being out there and getting drunk? Did it negatively affect your game positively?
Every single time people start drinking, they really start spilling the beans. Like, it's amazing how comfortable everyone suddenly gets, and like everything is like the game goes away a little bit.
Yeah.
You see how comfortable they got with a little bit of caffeine today. I can't imagine what booze will do.
Yeah, exactly. Like Malcolm's walking around kissing people on the head. I love you. I'm like, I've had the caffeine buzz out there too, and let me tell you that.
Yeah.
I have to just share this story real quick. We said All Stars, we won a challenge where we got coffee beans, and I made cowboy coffee, which is just beans and water boiled until it's black, and then you siphon out the beans. And we literally looked out at an island. It was low tide. We're like, let's swim out to that island. And I'm not kidding. We were singing like the Charlie's Angels theme song and everything, like swimming out to this island.
Oh my gosh.
It took us like an hour to get out there. And the guys with the cameras were like, hey, just so you guys know, we can't like, you know, give you a hitch ride back. Like, you gotta swim back. We're like, it's good. We're good. We're good.
Gosh.
We're doing great.
So when there's a lull in the season, they just need to sneak them caffeine.
That's all you need is
Sneak 'em
coffee or booze.
beans.
That's it.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure at the
I love
merge
it.
next week there's gonna be some booze. And there's gonna be some schmoozing.
I love insider stories.
Yeah. So it's so like hearing those stories. It's kind of like it makes it more real.
And you'll never get to experience it, so it's great to hear.
AJ, stop it.
That was like, to me, I was like, why didn't that get on the show? It was like
Fun.
so
funny.
much fun. We had such a blast, and that season was such a downer. The All Stars was so rough, and it wasn't even on an extra like video, nothing. It was insane. Honestly.
You have those memories. Thank you for sharing that memory with us.
I just remembered it
That's
right
awesome.
now.
I
See,
love
because I
that.
blocked it all out.
So predictions for next week, Jerri. What is your prediction?
Oh, another fan's gonna go home.
Any predictions on which one?
No.
No, AJ.
I think that, well, if we're going into a merge right now, and if we're looking at our alliances, the way we think things are going to start to play out, Jerri might be in trouble.
Ooh.
Because
Interesting.
I mean, she's really not in with anybody right now. If her boys are
That's
hitching up
true.
with Malcolm, and her other boy, her gay, is hitching up with Corinne, where does that leave Jerri? So she could either be out, or she becomes a key swing vote.
Interesting.
Yeah, I really like her. I hope she
I do
stays
too.
I do
I like
too.
her a lot.
I really like Jerri, and I'm rooting for out of the fans, rooting for Jerri and
She's
Reynold.
like Denise Light.
Oh,
Light.
with the Sandra Bullock twist.
Yeah, she's Sandra.
I have a gut feeling that alpha male alliance is not going to make it to the end. I think the women
way.
are too smart. I think Andrea might be one of the ones to really bust up that alliance and kind of see through it. So
I see her flirtations already taking play. Like tonight, she was like hugging on Reynold.
Yep.
And we need to go online and find out, is he married?
We need to look into that.
I want to know because
Well,
he
our
was like,
fans could look into it for us.
somebody
I
tweet
think
me.
it's tweet us.
Followed him on Twitter. I followed a couple of the fans, and there was a picture of him with a woman and a kid. So I don't know if that's maybe a sister and nephew.
Well,
I
would like to know how she feels about that first or second episode when he was canoodling.
Jerri stirring up trauma.
No, our
I
fans
didn't do it.
Fans need to tweet us. We're about to give our Twitter handles in about 2 seconds. Our
All
fans
right,
can tweet
so
us.
yep, we are good for the night.
Yeah.
Let's share. Jerri, where can people find you?
You can tweet me at Jerri Manthey. You can find me on Facebook, Jerri Manthey 2. You can go to jerrimanthey.com.
Yes, research Reynold and let us know, you guys. You can let me know at _AJ Gibson on Twitter. Check out my website, ajgibson.tv, please, and thank you.
And you can find me at Justin F. Walter on Twitter and justinwalter.com. Also, ABTV Survivor is our AfterBuzz TV
Follow it.
handle. Follow it, tweet us, and enjoy a week before our next Survivor episode. Thank you guys so much.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.